So just briefly, responding to Parvini on Hoppe, it's certainly an interesting way to look at things. I mean, his thought is a mix of the old world and new, so he's quite good for a computerised audience. I forget which point I was going to make now. Damn. Yeah, I mean, the failure of liberalism is just obvious. I mean, you've got the liberals sort of hiding. Hopperism just makes sense because you've got a single point of contact. So the problem in the modern world is who's responsible for anything. So if something goes wrong on the train, who do I get redress from? Who's in charge? Well, of course, as soon as you try, eventually you'll get somewhere because there's a bureaucratic process in place. But if the bureaucracy can't help, then there's no one to petition other than the person who's effectively abandoned his covenant with the polis, so he fails on a polis-like level, but on wider society. So we know who the responsible person is in Britain. If you look at the British Constitution, it's pretty obvious in terms of the international audience. When he's making the point that Rishi Sunak used the Prime Minister's role as sort of a gap year between corporate jobs, that is A, true, and B, clearly quite insulting to the country. So even the PM's role is kind of a clown show now. These people are not taken seriously. Starmer, of course, wasn't. He found him pull on the levers and have no effect on anybody at all. John Cotton's had even less than that, and it's just getting worse. The only... You can't make a religious argument, even me can't do that, but if you put things in the realm of covenants, that does make more sense. So okay, we've got a totally different ethical system, fine, we'll disagree and go our separate ways. In wider society, of course, you'd explain that's fairly obvious, but because of the technology, you're talking about the postmodern mate versus the one grounded in reality, and then you just got the nuts and bolts sense and who has political authority, because political authority is down from force. So the awkward thing for Helen, the Supreme Court, Birmingham's court is, if you speak to anyone serious about compliance, you get the same answer. So we can do it. It's not like Birmingham is undoable. We've all done it for several hundred years between us, just in the family terms. But you get someone young, right? You get them into the department. You say, okay, we'll give you a career. It's going to be exciting and dangerous. We're not going to pay you anything. We'll give you a promise that the state will look after you. But that promise is a lie. It's not going to happen. We can't actually do any kind of enforcement logically, because you could set up a dedicated enforcement team. So we go in with sensible people. So we go in with the commissioners, various MPs. We say, okay, well, here's the situation. We give you what we had no knives. It's just a building, right? So a building with ethical people who follow the law, so lawyers, compliance people. We reset the whole thing. Okay, well, here's our team. They're same as before, so we're friendly people. Here, come and talk to us if you've got a problem, and we'll link you with the wider bureaucracy. We can solve problems. That, though, comes from policing. So you need a head of Westminster Police, and we talk with caller just goes. We get a new political advisor in. Here's what this is. Don't ever apologise to these people. So let them scream and shout. We're compliance people. Are fine. Do what you like, but we don't apologise. We don't back down because we're the compliance people. That is basic arm of the state. So you teach it to children. This is what this is now, and we go back to sensible compliance prior to the silliness ever happening. You can put this as a sensible policy proposal to literally everybody. So Tony Sewell, Errol, David Betts, literally everybody, because everyone's quite sensible. And then you do, okay, new Home Office from defensible territory, so Scotland, I'll give you an idea. Our guys are going to be easily have self-defence anyway. You don't need to do much to them. And when you've got the legitimate authority via defence review, things go. The downward spiral becomes an upward spiral. So we're moving in a positive direction, in positive vision. We can have a chat with the French about basic border security. They've got incentive to sort it out too. But when you say, okay, well, here's a serious European project, let's sort this out sensibly and amicably and peacefully, by the way, not this idiocy is carrying on. So we do a full sweep, so British military assets come in, we do this sweep for weapons, then we say, okay, we'll carry on, fine, but given we've lived through this, we're just not happy, so it's a Scrutonian argument, we're not impressed. If you're going to be hostile, please just leave, don't behave in a hostile manner, just get out, and while we work on re-establishing order, dealing with John Cotton, and then we sort of carry on with a new governing party or set of people. The Crenshawism goes out. So if you get caught, the current position is if you get caught doing this, you should be removed by police. But in Birmingham, we've just been making fun of you for several years. We're not even going to bother. We're just going to point at you and laugh. Effectively, you have no authority. Nobody has to listen to you. Okay, you're getting paid currently. That's going to just end soon. The money's going to dry up. Just go, mate. Give it a rest. One that's happening. The state has to, Burnham at the moment has to explain himself in a casual, chatty Mancunian way why a tag team of Andrew Mitchell and Jess Phillips can't get their response to their letter, because if they could, I could have a chat with core staff.
Please make sure you take all your personal belongings with you.
So wait for the announcement to go. So it's not exactly a difficult or unreasonable question. Can court officers have a chat with members of the West Midlands of the court, West Midlands Police, with someone credible? Errol can do a referral, I'm sure, but we just want an adult man to sit down and have an adult man discussion in an office with people who I think are credible. So they're not going to pull faces and play silly games. They're going to do it under caution with a proper evidence record, because the whole point is you can do an interview under caution now via satellite, can't you? You take people to a room, say, well, we're going to interview you under caution, and you record it. But it's just that the police interview room stuff can now be done by anyone, anywhere on earth, if you've got the protocols, haven't you? The whole point is because of the cameras, you can view video and audio footage from anyone, anywhere on earth. The layman can dissect this stuff. So if you've got somebody who's trained, you can think about things in terms of physiology, psychology, this kind of stuff on the ape level. Then the recalcitrant bureaucrats are not going to do that well. The thought then, if you want to try and help, is let's say you want to be positive and pro-social. Positive and pro-social. So head of local.
Passengers are connecting here with the 1224 Northern Service through to platform number 6 in your train. Do you need any help or assistance? Do speak to my colleagues on the platform. Thank you.
Yes, you want to be a positive and pro-social member of society. So the people who are generally entrusted to be positive and pro-social are the heads of local government. These are generally expected as part of their job because they're governing a polis. So you can go to the current head of local government for our lot and say, well, can this woman have a casual chat with various people? So she's above me in the hierarchy, so I can't tell her what to do. So you're just saying, go and have a chat with them. So you could try housing ombudsman. We were doing CQC for the entire polis, so overseeing CQC's work. We've caught various directors. The ombudsman is flared. I don't know, it's all a bit of a mess. But if you want to make the claim that she is somehow irresponsible or some kind of ne'er-do-well, carry on if you want. But the refusal to actually talk to us isn't going in your favour. If by Monday your career is sort of ash and you're on fire because you haven't done anything since not even November, 23, we'll give you 23. You're probably going to be out, if not arrested. If you're in a compliance role, when people go in and start doing forensic case audits, you're going into a box if you've said or done nothing. The law says under Nolan you've got a duty of candour, so you've got to say, well, here's a problem, okay, this person's going to attack me, but that's the job anyway. My job is to get attacked for money, so other people aren't. But if you're saying this is white collar crime, then I can't report white collar crime on my own. I need someone else. So if the police are saying, well, we're all hostile, we're not going to do that, then it's quite obvious that the commissioner's bleating for more powers is probably going to be needed. Yeah, so say it's sorted doesn't apply to Andrew Mitchell, then what are we supposed to do? So if you can go and speak to the MP, please, if you won't speak to compliance officers. I think the last thing was they battered this guy off to the homeless team for some reason, I don't know why, but they're lying to an MP and he's trying to get information from the managing director, which is a bit embarrassing really, isn't it? So if you can have a chat with him, that's an idea. He, I'm sure, is hot on the case, but if who turns up to this thing is going to be interesting. Yes, apologies for the pauses, letting the train announcer announce to the passengers. But because these people are so incredibly stupid, I mean, they don't think about history, and therefore they don't think about anything else really. So if you think about history plus geography, well, the history plus geography of Birmingham to Edinburgh is quite significant. If you think about the history of the place, they are still separate countries, then when you vanish into the fog, these idiots can't actually deal with you. So for these people, I am sort of a terrifying apparition that comes out of the fog with a sword, because that's what we can do, and that's what the Scots do. There's a well up the corner by my flat where you sort of cut women's heads off. It's that kind of place. But the current position is you can still get to central London by the spine and by air and by various means. So you can go down to people in central London and discuss the generally disgraceful state of the country. The people causing the disgraceful state of the country can't find you and can't stop you, so they just get more scared and hide, and that is obviously a beneficial feedback loop. So the people who are attacking people, so the people who do not have the legitimate authority of the state and are behaving badly are suddenly starting to realise that there's a camera in their face from space, and that they've been seen and have been recorded, and now they're panicking. So that's the current position. The recording, though, in our case, is not another piece of plastic or a web server. It's the human brains of everybody in Birmingham University who saw the sort of Potemkin Village theatre performance, and now that we can do a sort of Stephen Kotkin meets Carl Chin dissection of this woman, she's now hiding. So and the Life of Brian stuff is obviously quite funny in a sense, and still is, but we can't run a country like this. I mean, come on, this is absolutely absurd. But we will give them till just to finish this off, we'll give them to midday Monday again. For every recording you say, well, this is clearly absurd, I'm not going to give you further ultimatums. The idea of giving you an ultimatum at this point is absurd, because events have moved on past you. But whatever happens between now and Monday is out of my control. Whoever turns up to this thing is probably ahead of the curve in most cases. I'm just so blown away whenever I think about it. But anyway, I'll finish it off then. So again, play along at home. Where in the world is the managing director? I mean, if you can find this woman, so all she needs to do is call her own compliance officer on a train, or given that we're unlikely to speak with her, just go and speak to the lawyers, love.